Guess what? Today's the day. Today's the day. Oh, hi. Today's the day. Today's the day. Today's the day. Today's the day. Today is the day. Today is the day we get to put all of this into here. I'm excited. Are you excited? Let's get into it. Right, first up we're going to talk CPUs. For the gaming system, we've got my 12900KS. It's the fastest chip I've got, and it's still what? Top 10, top 15 for gaming still right now, so. And also the fastest CPU in that socket that doesn't have stability issues. So that's for the gaming side. And over on the editing side, we have got this 12500T. It's a 6-core, 12-thread CPU, which is plenty for editing. I've also gone with this 12500T because it's the lowest power draw chip that has got Intel's UHD 770 on it, which is basically their best onboard graphics at present. So it's more than enough CPU. The advantage, part of the reason I'm doing this split is obviously to get the gaming system and the editing system separate, but also this being such a low draw chip, if I ever want to just consume content, watch some, go through Reddit, watch some YouTube or anything, I can just fire up the editing rig and use that one instead of firing up the gaming rig and just like using power for no reason. So this would be an ideal chip for this editing rig. So now we've gone through the CPUs, should we load up the motherboards? This Pro Art B660 Creator D4, which is the motherboard I will be using for the editing rig. Now I've already put the 12500T in here. Yes, it's on a contact frame. Do you need a contact frame for the 12500T? No, you don't. But I have two of them. I did need one for a 12900KS, and that's what used to be in here, and I can't be bothered putting the original hardware back on, so contact frame. Plus, it looks cool. Anyways, right, so we've already got this loaded up with the CPU, and it's also already got its boot drive in here, which is a Gen 3 Lexar 610, 1TB, so that's going to be the boot drive in there. We will be at some point in the future editing this, updating this with a scrub drive, basically, so that at the minute I couldn't afford an extra drive. Coming up to Christmas, got kids and stuff, so I wasn't going to hold off building this rig just because of a couple of drives. So first up, we're going to get this kit of RAM in. Now this is a 32 gig kit of 3600 CL18, pretty basic, 10 nanosecond RAM, but should be more than enough for this chip. Make sure you get two prominent clips, guys, when installing your RAM. Who doesn't like a full DIMM bay, hey? I've also obviously fitted both these boards with the mounting hardware for the coolers. So that's that board out the way, sorted. We've got a boot drive in here, we've got CPU and we've got the memory in. So that's that one sorted. Let's move on to the next board. Always remember to keep these plastic covers in the motherboard box, guys. Before I put this away, guys, before I move this, let me just go through why I've selected this particular board. 2 reasons. One is this display port pass-through for this USB-C. It's really handy. And also the second one is 2 Ethernet connections, which you'll see why after. The board for the gaming system. We have got this AsRock Z690 Extreme. Now, I've gone for this again for a particular reason. Part of it is the chipset, so that I can overclock the CPU. AsRock do have this devotion to this blue, which is prominent on this board, but because there's no way that blue would go with this build, I did a little bit of customization on this board, and we've put this sort of chameleon green to orange in instead of the blue stripes. But AsRock, I did leave your little blue tab here just as sort of like homage to AsRock. We're gonna get the 12900KS in here, but we also need to fit this. So in the box of one of these, you get from Thermalright, you get a little tube of Thermalright compound. I'm presuming that just gives you enough for one application. You get the tool to remove. Now you're going to need to keep the hardware for this because you're going to be using it, but you get the tool to undo it, and you get the frame. Now this is really quite simple. First thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to put your CPU in. Put the 12900KS in here. The reason you put the CPU in the socket is so that I could drop this frame, destroy the pins. So it's best practice to just, put the CPU in the socket. Right, guys, so what you want to do is you want to undo these. Now, what I found, the easiest way is just turn them until they click like that. Lie this on something so the back plate doesn't fall off. As it stands, I'm holding it there with this, so it's not going to go anywhere. But if you turn them until they hear that click, that means it's just jumped out of the threading. So that should mean that I should be able to just pull this off now. And we've got the bare die. So what you want to do is you want to get hold of your hardware out of here. All you want from this frame is the screws. So this frame here, we're just going to gently position that over the top of there. That's that on. And then, like I said, I'm going to use this bag to keep the frame parts, because if you need to RMSA the board, you're going to have to put this back on gently. With this, what you want to do is just drop those bolts in, and then one by one, they will grip pretty quickly, especially if you've got a back plate on there holding that middle back plate on for this. Just a couple of turns on each corner, just crisscross until you get resistance. And as soon as it wants to stop, stop. Right, so next we need to put our boot drive in. No, we'll put the RAM in. Right, for the RAM on this system, yeah, again, we've got another Corsair set, but these are 4600 CL18. So they're like a sub 8 nanosecond DIMM. Another 32 gig kit. Quick set of DDR4, there's no point. I already had the DDR4, I already had 2 kits of it. There's no point in me going DDR5 yet. Put that and that in here when I'm done. Okay, we've got 2 drives to throw into this. First up, under this one, we're going to put our boot drive. Now, I'll have people screaming at me going, oh, that one there's your fast drive. Well, we're going to be using that as well. But for my boot drive, I'm throwing it down here. So, as a boot drive, we are going to be using this P3 Plus 1 terabyte. So it's going to go down in there. We'll just take the peel off the back of this. And putting that in place, we've got obviously that heatsink working for that. Now with this one, I'm going to actually remove this heatsink. I'm going to keep that heatsink on there because, it's pretty. There's no real gain from me using my own heatsink here. It's just, the orange is prettier. Tiny screws, fat fingers. And there we go. So that's a 2TB P5 Plus, which is my game drive. That's literally full of my Steam games. So we've got a boot drive down here, we've got my game drive up in the fast slot, and we've got our 12900KS in there. So that's the second board ready to go. Okay, I'm just going to take these two panels off here. A little stopper this side, a little rubber stopper. Take that panel off. Right guys, so we're going to have to put the power supplies in first. These are modular, they're both modular, and I've specifically selected only the cables that I need because obviously space is a premium back here. This whole unit is being powered by EVGA. We're going to use this 850G, which I bought second hand a couple of years ago for the editing rig, and then for the gaming rig we're going to use this EVGA 750 GT. Yes, it's a 750 and that's an 850, but this I bought brand new less than a year ago, and that one I bought a couple of years ago second hand, so I'd rather throw safety to the wind and keep this. But again, only using the cables that we need because of space. So we're going to find out whether things actually fit in here. So let's get these power supplies in, shall we? And I'm going to run all the cable extensions as well, so that everything's just fine. Right. This first power supply, hopefully I'll be able to get it in through here. Okay guys, that's power supply number 1 is in there. Right, we're going to get the second one in. So, let's get this power supply on. Just going to basically attach this to here. Just give me a second. Okay guys, so we've got the frame on, and we're going to get it in there. Again, we're still tight for space, so maybe I probably should have connected the cables. Right guys, they are both in there. It's extraordinarily tight. I haven't got much in the way of space, but I think everything's connected. I hope everything's connected. But we've got all the cable extensions in and stuff, so hopefully everything's connected and we're good to go. So let's get the motherboard in. We'll start with the editing side, we'll get all this in, and then we'll go around the other side and get the gaming system in. Now obviously, anyone that's worried, I've left literally the front of these power supplies open. We've also got like a 20-25mm spacing all the way around these power supplies, and it's kind of open at the top, so they should be able to breathe. Plus these 3 fans, because I put a couple of extra height on the standoffs, these 3 fans should feed some air up into the back of the power supplies, so they should be okay. So this all goes in. Right, okay guys, that's the motherboard in and most of the wiring done. We're going to get this thermal pasted up. We are using a Thermal Grizzly Cryonaut. What I tend to do with this stuff is frost the whole die with it, and then I'll put an extra little blob in the middle. So let's get this cooler on. Oh, my ribs! Ribs, we're not happy about that. Right. So that's the coolers in. Okay, so that's the hard drive in. Now we'll get this GPU in here. We're going to be using this. We're not going to be using the vertical kit purely. Shout out to Easy DIY Fab. We just literally want this. Okay guys, well that's the GPU in. Everything's a little snug. There's a little bit of a lean on it, but I think it'll be okay. If not, I can always step it out to this one, and I'd rather not. Right, so we're going to get this my AverMedia player in here. Just come around here and put that one into there. Come on. And then plug that one into there. Kind of short on face, I need a longer cable, but for right now, so yeah, for now, this is going in here. And that will link on to there. Push yourself up out the way there. We've got cable running through to there. Right, so that's all of the editing side of the rig in. I don't know if you can see that, but full motherboard, all cabled in, GPU, and we've got the AverMedia player up here, my capture card, which is tucked up here out of the way, and running through off this USB-C. Right, so it's around the other side to get the other side in now. Right, okay guys, it's time to get that second that second motherboard in. That's the second motherboard in. Pretty much everything's in except for the main GPU now. My 3069. We'll have a quick look at her. She's a chunky girl. As we go through, amongst other mods, we'll do what, 2 Noctua NFA9. Okay. That's the GPU in. Right, well guys, it's all in. The whole system, including my capture card, everything, it's all in. So hopefully she'll start up. Let me just get it all cabled up and then we'll test it. You ready? Hey guys, this is after a day and a night of troubleshooting, tearing my hair out. I had a little bit of a seep. Wasn't a leak, it was a seep. The sort of thing that would build up a drip over about 4 days. So, but seeps turn into leaks. Once water finds a way, it finds a way. So I fixed that. Basically just ripped that connector off. It was one of the connectors going out of the case. I ripped that connector off, piled a load of PTFE tape on it, and away we go. We're good. There's no leak, so I had it going for a couple of days just to make sure. So yeah, we're safe there. So that's done. The loop wasn't working right. Obviously I had it in parallel, so both pumps would be hopefully building up the flow rate, but with the 600mm of radiator and pipework and a load of pipework that I was asking for it to push through, it didn't have the head pressure to get through it all. So what I've done is I've switched it out of that into running series. So now the 12500T pump runs after the 12900KS pump, and then they just push through the 600mm radiator. Seems to work perfectly fine like that. Shout out in the comments if you want to see me add an extra pump. I'm thinking about just buying a second-hand one of these coolers just to take the pump off it and add it in line, and then switch those back into parallel and just have the other one so that it can build up head pressure halfway through the loop. Give me a shout in the comments if you want to see that. I'm tempted. The pipe works there, so I'm tempted. The reason it took so long to troubleshoot everything, I'm kind of embarrassed by this. I wasn't going to tell you. Honestly, I wasn't going to tell you. I'm a little embarrassed. But basically, right, I could not get my gaming rig to run cool. It was choking in Cinebench. Now this is a chip that is happy to pull 300 plus watts and happy to give me 5.2 gigahertz all core, 4 gigahertz all core on the E cores all day long. Yeah, it's happy to, yeah, right. And I went over this. I changed the pumps. I switched out the loop to series, which helped a little, but it didn't make a blind bit of difference to the gaming rig, but it did on the other side. I switched out the cabling, so it's not powered by that switch anymore, because I don't think that these pumps have a default of just full power all the time. I think they try and save themselves, they go in like a limp mode. It just wasn't pumping through enough power, so I've got them running off the editing rig board now, because it's such low power draw. I'd rather have that on for the gaming rig than the gaming rig on for that, if you get me. Yeah, I could not get the temps to calm down. It was throttling this poor CPU down to like 3.2 gigahertz. The poor thing was absolutely on fire, and I just could not get it to calm down. Didn't matter what I tried, nothing seemed to work. Like, it was so frustrating. I was like, what's wrong? Have I got a blockage? I was like, have I got a blockage in the pump? What's going on? What has happened? And I'm embarrassed. I also didn't think this would cause that much of an issue, but I kept it to show you guys because I know you weren't there for it. Anyone know what this is? Covered in thermal paste. It's even curly because it got so fucking hot. Yeah, man left the fucking plastic on the cooler. Days of troubleshooting and wondering why and screaming at the PC, like almost an entire day plus, and bit of fucking plastic. Anyways, here's the rig. Right, okay guys, we're going to run these two Cinebench tests to check the loop, make sure that it can handle both CPUs at the same time. I think it's going to be able to. Pre-note, this is pulling like, this has got like unlocked to like 330 watts. It does pull on average about 300 watts on with the slight undervolt I've got. So it's gonna reach 100 degrees. It's just whether it gets throttled down from it. We scored like 28. I'm expecting like 28k results on this side, and we have to remember with this CPU it is just a 60 watt chip, like it's all core 3.6 or something, single core 4.4. It's not a super duper chip, but it's enough for an editing rig, right? So before we get into running these, should we have a look in here? So we've got that Z690 AsRock Extreme motherboard, 2 sticks of 4600 CL18 DDR4. They are running at 4266 though. Don't know why, they've just the best they've run, but it's still like an 8.6 nanosecond dim, so they're still really quick at that. Like, got my 3069, nice. In here we've got all Noctua fans. They are all Noctua P12s. Sorry. So full fans are NF P12s, including the two Noctua NFA9s that are on that graphics card, keeping it nice and cool on that 2-pot. And then moving around, and then over here we've got the Asus Pro Art board, 32 gigs of 3600 CL18 DDR4, my ARC AirBus A380, and up here we've got my AverMedia player. If anyone's seen that video, you'll see it there. It's right there. So pretty much all my hardware is in here. The whole streaming rig is basically inside this case. We'll just run a multi-core on this. See how the cooler gets on for both systems. Right, so that's that one going. On this one as well. Like I said, this one will get up to temperature. It's just whether we throttle up here. But you know, holding that 5, 2, and 4 gigahertz all core here, no problem. So we've tweaked it. I expected to see this. But I don't expect this to throttle much, and I'm expecting like a 28,000. So we're around that. It was holding like 28.3, that 28.6 there. It was holding 28.3 for the 10-minute test when I ran it without this one in the loop. But I would just like to bring in, right, the package temps and core max on this CPU at full. This is only a 60 watt chip, but at full throttle is 35 degrees. It doesn't know what to do with all this temps, because it can't push any more than 3.6. The chip won't let it. It won't load. This system has got my unlocked 330 watt BIOS profile from this 12900KS still on it, and it will not pull more than 57 watts. Okay guys, both the tests have run through. We did alright over here, got an 81.41 and the temps maxed out on the core max at 49 degrees. Over here we peaked at 100 degrees, but it kept a consistent 28.3. It actually finished on 28.4, so that's super consistent. I'm kind of happy with that. And so you guys can see, we've literally got this screen sent through to that. So basically, how I've got this running through this is my graphics card is sending out 2 display port signals. One goes to my monitor and the other one goes through to the DP pass-through on the motherboard on the back, which then goes up through to the USB-C, which comes through to my ARC. That means that's got a pass-through of like 240 Hz, so it can keep it powered. So it kind of takes the pressure off my graphics card. Then that goes through to my AverMedia player, video capture, which then has a pass-through, which comes back to my main gaming monitor, so that I can use the 165 Hz refresh rate and G-Sync on this monitor whilst recording at 120 FPS. Right, so the ARC receives 120 FPS from this capture card. I record at 60 FPS. That's mostly because DaVinci doesn't seem to be able to recognize 120 FPS. Every time I have 120 FPS on DaVinci, it basically it shuts it off and gives me like 27 or something. It's so frustrating. So I just record at 60 FPS, but it receives at 120, so it can do its decide, which gives me a little bit smoother. Seems to work a bit smoother anyway. And yeah, that's the whole setup, guys. It's running cool enough. Like I said, I knew it was going to do this, but how quickly it jumped straight back down to like 20 degrees shows me that, you know, it's cool and fine. There's not a problem. The loop is better than I had before, and also, you know, the system looks like this. Fucking look at it. Just fucking look at it. So, I will be streaming on Twitch very, very soon. In the next few days, I'll start streaming back up on there. So feel free to add me up on there. It's the same name as here. Twitch.tv/TripBoomer. Find me on there. And I will be doing a streamathon coming soon, where I'm just literally going to be like, it'll be a 50-hour plus streamathon. I've got some stuff to build. We're going to film some reaction videos to building stuff. I'm going to be filming that at the same time as trying to stream to you guys, so that should be fun. Feel free to join me over there beneath that, so, you know, like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Love you, bye.